Welcome to this presentation on decision modeling. Using Enterprise Architect and the Sparks modeling platform, you will learn about some of the tools and facilities available to decision and process modelers, analysts, and technologists to create and manage decision models using the decision model and notation language. You develop and review the models collaboratively. You can share them with customers and a range of other disciplines from executives, strategists, managers, system and software engineers, and any other stakeholders who define, develop and simulate the decision models. In this presentation, we will cover the following topics: develop productive decision models, create decision expressions in multiple languages, conduct what-if analysis with simulations, work as a team with collaboration and Kanban, generate code, publish, and exchange decision models. Develop productive decision models. In this topic, you will see how to use Enterprise Architect to create expressive decision requirements diagrams and models, and how to simplify process diagrams. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including create business and technology decisions, use model patterns to get off to a flying start, define a model structure for decision analysis, declutter process diagrams and reduce complexity, and more. Create a decision requirements diagram and reveal important corporate business rules expressed in clear and compelling models. Organizations have typically not had a universal way of representing decision logic. The decision requirements diagram describes a graph of supporting decisions, business knowledge models, data used as input, and knowledge sources that help users visualize how decisions are realized. Enterprise Architect has rich support for decision models, including validation and simulation, and programming code generation directly from the decision models. Define a model structure using the browser window and place the decision models in the broader context of strategic, business, process, requirements, and implementation models. Creating decision models in the same repository as these other models allows strategists, requirements and business analysts, process modelers, and implementation teams to view the models in the context of their own work. You can focus on the decision models by selecting the context and diagram panels of the browser. There are tools for each team, resulting in a unified and robust decision model which is designed, analyzed, validated, simulated, tested, and implemented. Get a jump start with the complete set of decision model and notation patterns. Benefit by using these tried and tested patterns to create best practice decision models by injecting them into your repository and visualizing concepts in diagrams, adding quality and rigor to your models. Select any of the patterns and use them individually or in combination, extending them to meet your desired outcomes where necessary. There are fully worked examples that demonstrate how to use decision tables, boxed context, literal expressions, invocations, business knowledge models, data inputs, and simulation artifacts ready to run. Simplify business process diagrams with decision logic contained in a decision model. An organization's process diagrams are often unwieldy and difficult to read because of the large number of gateways. Move the gateways into a decision model, replacing them with a business rule task, simplifying your diagrams and making them comply with straight-through processing principles. Link processes and decisions and visualize the business rules in a decision requirements diagram. You can decompose the decision logic by following the graph of connections in the diagram, from the input data, up to the highest level decision in the graph. Double-click a decision to launch the expression editor, and see the business rules in an easy-to-understand decision table, boxed context, literal expression, or invocation. The editor has helpful productivity features that assist even novice decision analysts in creating and managing expressions. Remove the clutter of gateways from business process diagrams and reduce the cost and time needed to update these complex diagrams by introducing a business rule activity linked to a decision model. Organizations struggle to keep current and future state models up to date because of the complexity caused by gateways that codify business rules. You can remove gateways and transfer the business rule logic to a decision requirements diagram using business-friendly and easy-to-maintain models. Create decision tables, boxed contexts, literal expressions, and invocations. In this topic, you will see how to create all of these expression types for decisions and business knowledge models. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including chain decisions into a graph, create decision tables and boxed contexts, create literal expressions and invocations, use FEAL, the friendly enough expression language, and more. Chain business decisions and create a directed graph of elements. Business rules, including decisions, don't typically stand in isolation but rather are a series of related rules forming a dependency graph. Model any number of dependent decisions, including reusable elements such as business knowledge models and decision services, and input data. Use diagram layout and formatting options to create compelling visualizations for both business and technology personnel. You can run simulations to see the output of each decision and how it contributes to decisions further up the graph. Select an expression type that applies to the decision you are modeling, whether in a decision element or a business knowledge model. Each decision modeling context will require a different way of modeling the decision, including the use of a decision table, literal expression, boxed context, or an invocation. Many organizations starting on their decision modeling journey will find the simplicity of the decision table with its tabular format and rows of rules an appealing option. Enterprise Architect supports all these expression types and has a range of productivity features such as validation and simulation, which will reduce the barrier to learning and adoption. Use decision tables for expressions and provide a simple and friendly interface for business users to define their decision rules. The table can have any number of input and output columns and a column for annotations for each rule. The rows are numbered rules, and each input entry evaluates to a Boolean expression. The Boolean column results are combined with an AND, which determines the output. Decision tables have a hit policy that defines how the rules are applied. A unique hit policy states that only one rule may match for any set of input values. You can use a literal expression as an alternative to a decision table. A literal expression is the simplest form of decision expression and is typically defined as a single-line statement or an if-else conditional block. The literal expression can be used in both decision elements and business knowledge model elements. As the expression becomes more complex, it might be more expedient to use a boxed context. To improve the readability and foster reuse, you can encapsulate some of the logic as a function in the DMN library. Use a boxed context expression to define a decision, using a multi-step value expression. A boxed context is a collection of context entries consisting of name-value pairs, each with a result value. The context entries provide a means of decomposing a complex expression into a series of simple expressions, providing intermediate results that you can use in subsequent context entries. You write the context entry values in FEAL, the friendly enough expression language. Foster reuse by using decision invocations to call reusable business knowledge models. You can bind the invocation parameters to expressions that provide the context for evaluating the business knowledge model. The invocations can have data inputs that, when applied, will be used by the connected business knowledge model. You can use multiple input data sets to run what-if scenarios to visualize the invocation results and final decision outcomes. Use FEAL, the friendly enough expression language that allows business users to create expressions without having to learn a more complex language. The language is intuitive, and the expression editor has helpful features such as IntelliSense. Users can check their expressions for syntax errors using the validation feature. They can also test for decision logic errors, by running simulations to ensure that the decision output matches the expected result for a selected input dataset. Choose an expression language that suits you or your team and if needed, display the expression in a different language. You can choose from various languages, including FEAL, the friendly enough expression language, JavaScript, Java, C#, and C++. The input parameters are shown in the IntelliSense menu, providing productivity gains and helping to prevent inadvertent typing errors. Avoid errors with defined lists that help decision analysts and technologists by only allowing valid data to be selected. When editing values for the input data type to the chosen item definition, you can press the spacebar on the keyboard to display a list of valid values for selection. Enumerated lists will save time and frustration and reduce the effort spent on rule validation and simulation. Foster reuse by using decision invocations to call reusable business knowledge models. You can bind the invocation parameters to expressions that provide the context for evaluating the business knowledge model. The invocations can have data inputs that, when applied, will be used by the connected business knowledge model. You can use multiple input data sets to run what-if scenarios to visualize the invocation results and final decision outcomes. Conduct what-if analysis with simulations. In this topic, you will see how to validate and simulate decision models to see the results with different input data sets. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including validate decision expressions, simulate decision models to visualize results, run what-if scenarios with multiple data sets, simulate process and decision models with BPSIM, and more. Validate your expressions using the helpful expression validation tool. This will assist both business and technology users to find errors or inconsistencies in the expressions in both decisions and business knowledge models. Resolving issues before the models are simulated or generated into programming code will ensure a successful implementation. The validations will also help modelers gain experience writing rules and correcting their errors as they develop the models and expressions. Watch the wheels turning with simulation, and bring your decision models and requirements diagrams to life. Simulation allows you to effectively run what-if scenarios with different data sets. You can change your decision models, including decision dependencies, and modify expressions, including decision table rule order, hit policies, and boxed context conditions. You will get profound productivity gains by discovering incorrect results or edge cases before the decision model is implemented and run in production. View the simulation results as annotations in a decision requirements diagram. After you have created a diagram that describes the elements involved in formulating a decision, including decision tables, boxed expressions, and input data sets, you can simulate the model. When you run the simulation, the tool will calculate the decision results following the graph, annotating the diagram elements with text as it proceeds. Simulations allow you to create what-if scenarios by running the same simulation using different data sets and viewing the results in the diagram. Run what-if scenarios with multiple data sets and see how your decision models respond. A business user or developer can define any number of data sets and use them to run simulations, effectively viewing the models in different contexts. You define data sets using item definitions that specify the item and its type, and then populate these with example data. A user can conveniently select from a drop-down list where they have defined enumerations in the item definition. Simulate process models with decisions by harnessing these two expressive business languages together. You can use BPMN, the business process model, and notation standard to describe both current and future state processes that describe how the business works or is going to work. Sequence flows specify the order of execution. You can use DMN, the decision model, and notation standard, to define your business rules in the form of decision graphs with rules articulated with easy-to-understand decision tables, boxed expressions, and more. Using Enterprise Architect, you can connect these two models and then run a single simulation using the power of the BPSIM simulation engine. Bring models to life with simple simulations, or use the BPSIM extension to create sophisticated simulations, allowing for what-if analysis, measuring throughputs, doing Monte Carlo analysis, and much more. Use the model to verify and validate your predictions before the project design and implementation phases. Manipulate triggers, events, resources, and wait times to understand how they could impact your business process. Eliminate bottlenecks and identify critical success factors, including improving resource allocation and event timing. Test the integration of your decision models with business process simulation implemented with the BPSIM engine. You can generate a decision model, connect it with a BPSIM model, and test whether the decision can be evaluated. After this test module process, Enterprise Architect guarantees that the BPMN data object elements will work well with the DMN module. Integrating your process and decision models provides a seamless end-to-end simulation and tangible benefit to both the business and technology modelers. Discover what's changed in your decision model using the powerful comparison feature of the baseline utility. Create any number of baselines for any model package, and then as your model evolves, compare it to one or more baselines of the same package. Revert each change or an entire package to the content in the baseline, and set options to suppress changes such as diagram and date changes. Use the feature for decisions, business knowledge models, input data, requirements, user stories, use cases, or any other package of model elements, features, and diagrams. Put meaning at your fingertips with the powerful glossary tools that ensure teams are on the same page and have the same mental model of terms and definitions. Readers will see the meaning of industry, project, or team terms as rollovers in diagram, element or connector notes and other model-based project documentation. Create categories of terms based on disciplines, semantic fields, source, and more. Turn any project element into a glossary term by adding it to a glossary diagram. You can also include the glossary items and their meanings in a corporate publication or web page. Work as a team with collaboration and Kanban. In this topic, you will see how to collaborate with team members worldwide, using chat, discussions, reviews, and Kanban boards, and define input data. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including collaborate, discuss, chat, mail, and review. Switch perspectives to stay focused. Use Kanban for managed or self-organizing teams. Define and structure multiple input data sets. And more. Change your project role at the drop of a hat, by selecting a perspective, and watch Enterprise Architect set your focus on the chosen discipline by hiding other tool options. Choosing a perspective will increase your productivity as you concentrate on modeling for your selected role. Create tailored perspectives by including selected technologies relevant to your modeling intent, or create perspectives for teams and groups, ensuring the entire team stays focused. Collaborate with customers, colleagues, and consultants, and build systems in record time using the collaboration and team features. Enterprise Architect is built from the ground up as a collaboration platform for sharing ideas, and working and modeling together. Collaborate with your team and stakeholders no matter where they are located, and chat, discuss, comment, review, and share specifications, designs, solutions, and implementations, all in real time. Achieve positive results with Agile Kanban. Decision modeling typically involves a number of disciplines, including business strategists and analysts, requirement analysts, developers, testers, and others. Kanban can increase speed to market, ensure customer-driven prioritization and create clear project communication. You can effortlessly drag and drop items between lanes and boards, create traces to other modeled elements such as drivers, goals, and solution artifacts. Any decision element can be added to a board and multiple boards can be created, for example one for the requirements analysts defining the decision rules and another for the development team. Items can easily be moved to other boards as they progress through the workflow. Swarm or manage resources using the collaborative Kanban feature. A product or project manager or Scrum Master can allocate resources, or team members can use swarming to assign themselves to a sprint item, including decisions, business knowledge models, input data, and more. All team members can see who is working on the item in the in progress, testing, or other lanes of the Kanban board. Team members can update their progress, displayed visually on the item progress bars. Define and structure input data to set the required data used to drive the decision outputs. The data definitions define the names of data items and their data types, including booleans, numbers, strings, and enumerations. You can use these data definitions to populate sets of data values that you use in the simulation of the decision models. You can select values from drop-down lists based on the enumerations. You can then run simulations using any of the input data sets, effectively running what-if analysis to see the output of the decision model in different business or technical situations. Never lose track of element connectivity in your decision models with the traceability window. and view a directed graph of model connections from a context or reference element. Set options to restrict which relationships to display, locate related elements in the browser or diagrams, and instantly view their properties. Use this view in conjunction with other windows, like matrices and model views, to gain a comprehensive understanding of how requirements relate to both business and technology elements, ensuring there is no scope creep or unintended gaps in your design. Bind decisions to class operations to get productivity gains from your models. Minimizing the coding a developer must do results in time saving and minimizes potential errors. Create bindings to allow IntelliSense to access the DMN modules, including input data, decisions, and business knowledge models. The binding reduces errors and facilitates coding and reuse. The system will add the DMN modules as class attributes on code generation. Link input data to corporate information models and bridge the gap between different teams. Decision models don't stand alone, and the great opportunity with Enterprise Architect is to connect elements from disparate models together to create coherent and unified views of the enterprise or its projects. Connect the input data used to seed the simulations and what-if analysis with the classes from your logical information models. You can define multiple data sets based on the item definition. Generate code, publish, and exchange decision models. In this topic, you will see how to generate programming code from decision models and publish to a range of formats, and import industry models. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including view models in real time through a web browser, generate programming code to multiple languages, publish decisions in high-quality corporate documents, exchange decision models in multiple formats, and more. Instantly view real-time decision models in a browser, no matter where you are. View the models on a notebook, tablet, or smartphone, and create new requirements, use cases, issues, and more, adding notes and other details as required. Collaborate with colleagues, consultants, and customers by entering into discussions, chat, reviews, and viewing each other's model additions and changes as they are made. Generate high-quality corporate documents directly from the model. Use a range of document generation techniques with flexible system or user-defined templates. Completely customize the documents to comply with corporate or organization standards, including styles and logos. Generate these for publication in a range of formats such as DocX, HTML and PDF. Include cover and document sign-off pages, a table of contents, and static content interleaved with dynamic content generated from the decision models. Rest easy knowing that security is protecting your repository. Use security to drive many features such as package locking, perspectives, collaboration, workflow, ribbon sets, and more. Integrate with Active Directory and OpenID at a group or user level, and set permissions to control users or groups' access to tool features. Lock parts of the model to specific users and groups, and using some backend databases completely hide some packages from view for specified users or groups. Automatically generate programming code directly from the decision models into various languages, including JavaScript, Java, C#, or C++. The generated programming code effectively enshrines your decision models in code, ensuring nothing is lost in translation to implementation and saving hours of development time. The productivity gains are profound, and the features mean that business and technology specialists can work in the same model with the same decision logic and rules. The technology team simply generates the code from well-designed and validated models knowing that the business analysts have defined the correct business logic. Developers can view and manage the generated decision code in any supported implementation language using the flexible and integrated code editor inside Enterprise Architect. The fully featured code editor can display a structured tree for easy navigation of attributes, properties, and methods. You can display line numbers and configure syntax highlight options. Import industry standard decision model and notation files to get a jump start from predefined structures. You can incorporate models from reliable sources and embed the decisions, business knowledge models, and other elements with your business processes, information, and strategic or implementation models, saving you time and ensuring that you are following best practices. Exchange decisions, business knowledge models, input data, requirements, user stories, use cases, risks, and other elements with spreadsheets. By using the CSV Exchange utility, save time and effort by importing existing definitions from spreadsheets, including inbuilt properties such as type, status, and priority, or user-defined properties such as business owner or criticality. Create and reuse your specifications for both import and export of modeling information. In this presentation, we have covered the following topics. Develop productive decision models. Create decision expressions in multiple languages. Conduct what-if analysis with simulations. Work as a team with collaboration and Kanban. Generate code, publish, and exchange decision models.